All right. Hello, everybody. We are back for the 28th Biweekly Reader. I think I've said that for like 3 weeks in a row. But I will ask that you excuse me. And this week, I think I've gotten some reading done. I think I got some good reading done. I didn't get as much reading done as I wanted. It's World Cup season, so sorry. But nah, yeah, I did get a lot of reading that I'm pretty happy with. I kind of wish I'd been able to split it up a little bit more, but well, you'll see as I talk about them. So let me go ahead and start off with the first thing that I read. I'm not quite done with it, as you'll be able to see, and that is The Riddle Master of Hed. So I've gotten a couple more chapters in. I'm about 70 pages in to the first book, which is 150-ish pages. This is the omnibus edition, so it's a trilogy. And it's amazing. I'll explain to you why I haven't gotten much further in a little bit, but it is solidly amazing. I love Morgan's journey so far. I love this moment that Morgan has with his instrument, and I think it's very beautiful and very interesting, and his relationship to this king who's come about, and this bard, if you will. I don't actually remember. He's a high musician, is I believe what they call him. And I really find their relationships, Morgan's relationships with these two people, very fascinating and very interesting. And I need a little bit more, I think. I think I need to finish the first book before I'm able to articulate why I love this sequence so much. Because mostly right now, I feel like I'm in setup, but I'm also experiencing these very beautiful and vivid moments between Morgan and these characters. And I want to know where this plot is going, because there is something that's lingering here, and I'm wondering what's going on and why have these things happened. But we just don't know. And of course, I think that these events have to correlate in some way with what Morgan's arc will be, which leads me to believe that Morgan is going to have some arc regarding life and how to cherish it properly. Something of that sort. I really don't know. But, because it's so early on in the story, I mean, this is 600 pages, I believe, 560 pages, and I'm only 70 pages in. But, so far, amazing stuff. If you haven't read Patricia A. McKillop, I highly recommend her works, especially just even after 70 pages of this. It is beautiful stuff. I think her prose is very wonderful. It's very lyrical without being too dense. And of course, I love the artwork for all her books, so if that alone doesn't sell you, I mean, I know this one it doesn't pop very much, but go look at the artwork for some of her other books, and it's just stunning. So, do highly recommend this, and I'm really enjoying it. Now, the other thing I started to read was Deadhouse Gates. I want to say 3 chapters? Yeah, I'm 3 chapters plus the prologue in. Really enjoying it so far. I mean, I'm not that far into it. I think I'm 100 pages in. Is that safe to say? Yeah, I'm 118 pages in. Really liking it so far, of course, as I expected from Malazan. There is a group of people who we get to see from the first book that I'm really, really digging seeing again. I do want to see them a little more, but I also understand that I'm being told acclimate to this new cast of characters. And I am. I really like Mappo Trell and his companion. Dang it, Icarium, I think is his name. I really like both of them. I find the dynamic very interesting, especially I believe it's Icarium. He has such an interesting thing going on, and I don't really think it's a spoiler, but I'll just go ahead and say it because like basically the first thing he does is mention what his problem is in the book. But he's like this immortal being who cannot remember anything. And it's so interesting. It makes me wonder, why is Mappo Trell with him? Why are these two people together? Where are they? They're in a very interesting place, which I won't talk about. But what's going on there? And I think there's one more perspective that I haven't gotten to quite yet. I know that I'm about to reach Felisin, who is Perrin's younger sister, I believe. I believe Perrin is the oldest. Tavor is the middle child, and Felisin is the youngest child. Tavor, by the way, I'm not gonna say anything. I literally, if I say anything about Tavor, it's a spoiler. So I won't say it, but she's on an interesting route. After the events of book 1 and what's happening with the prologue of this book, I'm so interested on what's going to happen with her, what's going to happen with her relationship to Felisin and to Perrin. I mean, I don't actually, because the problem is I don't remember Captain Perrin's first name is the problem. I could probably look it up, but who cares? Regardless, I find everything that's going on so fascinating. And I'm very sad that I haven't been able to continue because of the third thing that I've been reading. It's just been making me so very happy, okay? And that is The Wandering Inn, Volume 7. So I'm about to finish it up. I've been listening to it on audiobook for a little while. I read the first... I don't know if anybody here is still watching from way back when. I was reading Volume 7's, first 40 chapters, I believe. And I believe that... What was it? Volume 7 is split up into, I believe, 7 books now, or 6. I think it was 15, and it's going to be to 20, so it's 6 books. And I kind of put it on hold for a little while, and then once the book released with the audiobook that I could pick up where I left off, I kind of just picked up from there. And then once I finished book 19, which is Courier's Outbound, I immediately picked up on the web novel where the audiobook left off, because I could not wait. It was just too amazing. It was so good. I had to keep going. And I'm literally, the next time I sit down to read Volume 7 of The Wandering Inn, I'm going to finish it. That is just how close I am to finishing it. The reason I kept putting off recording this was because I kind of wanted to finish it and talk about Volume 7. But I decided that it's been a bit too long, and I just need to go ahead and record and release my next Biweekly reader. And Volume 7 is just so amazing. It's impeccable, really. I love everything that Pirate Abba is doing with it, and it makes me so excited for the physical release of The Wandering Inn that will be releasing in 2 or 3 months from now. I believe it's going to start in September and end mid-August. So it's going to release 4 books, the first 2 volumes of The Wandering Inn. So if you haven't checked out The Wandering Inn, let me just try and sell it to you real quickly. The character work, it's imagine Hob level character work with, I'd say, Sanderson's prime prose, because I'd say Sanderson's more modern prose is pretty terrible. Look, I love Sanderson, but Christ, whatever happened to him in Wind and Truth, that prose was almost unbearable to me. And I say that as someone who, I'm not very picky with my prose. I do notice when bad prose is occurring, but I am not particularly picky when it's utilitarian. But whatever he had going on, whatever Sanderson was doing in Wind and Truth, I did not like. But having said that, I do think Pirate Abba has a very solid prose. It's not the greatest out there. It's not like Janny Wart's prose. It's not Steven Erikson prose. but it's utilitarian mostly, I'd say. It gets you where you need to go. It gives you a vivid vision of what you want to see, of what she wants to show you. And I think it's good enough. But Hob level character work with, and I say epic fantasy. Like, from what I hear, Malazan has very high epic scope. I would probably put the scope at something like what the Cosmere was doing, a little bigger. And it's insane. Like, to create a scope that is so wide and far reaching as the Wandering Inn does, while still maintaining good, amazing character work, because I think that is a problem I have with Sanderson, by the way. I think that over time, he's focused a lot more on the scope, and he's lost a bit of that character work. And this is a thing I have with a good chunk of fantasy series. I think I've talked about it a couple times on my channel, but it is like a late stage epic fantasy problem that I personally have noticed. I notice it in video games, I notice it in novels, and I notice it in manga. I notice it in all of these things. I mean, One Piece. I do think that One Piece suffers a little bit from having a few too many characters, but I think The Wandering Inn doesn't, which is insane, because The Wandering Inn it just has a insane number of characters. Like, I could probably list off to you 20 characters that if anybody said it was, or 20, 30, actually, I'm sorry, probably 30 to 40 characters in The Wandering Inn that if somebody said that character was in their top 10 of all time, I would say, oh, that's understandable. I understand what you're saying, and I understand why you would have that there. That makes sense. Which is crazy. It's just such a high level of character work that, and that's what Pirate Abba does, the author. She focuses on that character work first and foremost, while having a very intricate and interesting world that I admit, initially I hated. When I jumped into The Wandering Inn, I did not like the world, but the characters kept me in there, and I loved everything about it going forward. I'm still addicted to it. Like, when I hit Volume 8, once I'm done with Volume 7, I think I'm going to try and lean back from The Wandering Inn, but I want to try and keep a consistent, maybe chapter a day. I mean, that's a big ask for me, because The Wandering Inn's chapters are long. But I'll probably even make a whole dedicated video, maybe to Volume 7, maybe to The Wandering Inn as a whole, when the physical releases begin, because it's just that special, I believe. It is one of those series that if you haven't hopped onto it, I do highly recommend it. And if you want to wait a little bit for those paperback, those official copies to come out, do it. But hop on the train. It is so worth your time. It's like popcorn. When you start reading The Wandering Inn, you just don't stop. And it has flavor to it, too. It's not like, oh, I'm shoving stuff on there, it's slop. No, I would say that maybe the beginning, some people might argue that it is. Some people might argue this or that. But there is substance here. There is such a magic to this story that builds on these small kindnesses, building and building to create these epic, just amazing finales, that just this meaning of friendship, this importance in being kind to one another in these small moments, building up to create these moments that change the world through this kindness. I love it so desperately, and I implore you to read some of it whenever the physical releases come out, because I know the books are going to look long, but when you read them, they are not long. When you read The Wandering Inn, it's like, oh, boom, 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 you flip pages like that. It's a very quick read, in my opinion. Anyways, that's all I have to say about the books that I've been reading. And now let's talk about what I received as a book haul. Because really, let's be honest, when I'm caught up to Volume 7, I'm just going to be reading this and Riddle Master and kind of just coasting along. I'm not really going to be changing anything much. It's going to be Deadhouse Gates, it's going to be Riddle Master, and it's going to be more Wandering In. So I'm not going to delude you and say, hey, I'm going to be reading something else in the near future, which the case is, it's really not happening. I'm not reading anything else in the near future. So the first thing I got recently was Kamudo Volume 2. That released. And again, I would like to implore you all who like to read manga, read this. This is one of the most underrated new gen manga out there. It has this little Legend of Zelda spice alongside this ancient mythological tale following the story of the first human as he journeys across this world to find his place in it. It is a very coming-of-age story, but also in a world where humanity does not yet exist. He must create the foundation for it, and also learn about the world around him. I love the world here. It's so special. It has that Legend of Zelda plus Dark Crystal. Like, it has this ominous, foreboding feeling, while also feeling hopeful and very beautiful. It has the feeling like I'm reading a mythological tale. And the two, it's written by two women who have written a bunch of Legend of Zelda manga, and it's so interesting. So, again, I do highly recommend it to anybody who is interested. This is, such an interesting series to me. I love it to bits. And, of course, it's ongoing, so maybe you do want to hold off, and I'd understand that. But now I have to talk about the Bone Shard War. I got this in the mail, and I remember sitting there going, holy, that is beautiful. Like, I don't know how much this is conveyed just in the video, but I was shocked. Like, I of course, I have the illustration saved on my phone, on my iPad, on my Apple devices. I have the illustration there, the whole thing. But that's something entirely different from when you get the book in your hands. Like, I literally, these arrived in the mail this morning, and I remember opening it up and going, is there any amount of time that I could sit here and pick apart the details? And by the way, what the heck? There's a face on the back? Sorry, I have to interrupt myself. There's a face on the back. I don't know if you see it right here. That's kind of disturbing. But, like, it has this very, like, traditional, is it Chinese or Japanese? I don't know. I'm sorry. Illustration vibe. I adore whoever made this. You know what? Let's find out. Let's find out right now. Who made the cover art? Danlin Zhang. I probably butchered the pronunciation, but DanLinZhang. Hey, beautiful job, Danlin Zhang, because wow. Look at that. Look at the woman here, and look at that spirit or whatever it is. I have no idea what's going on, but I love it. It's such a beautiful art piece, and I'll show you the interior designs too, because you know I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Look at that. I have no idea what's going on. Oh wait, that's like a dragon and two boats. Ooh, that's cool. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, take another second. Dragon in the middle. Two boats on the sides. One's like a dark, it's the other hand. It's this one right here. And the other is like a light golden. I wonder why. Of course, I'll probably figure out when I read the book, but beautiful stuff. And then this. You guys can figure out what this is. I have no idea. It's like a huge ball in the sky with, Chips flying into the ball in the sky. I have absolutely zero idea what's going on if you cannot tell. But it is beautiful, and I love the illustrations. It also has interior illustrations, which I find very beautiful. I did take a peek at them. I couldn't help myself, okay? I am an art fanatic, says the guy who's not very good at art, but I do love seeing good and beautiful art, and this is very much that. So, it makes me very excited to read the Bone Shard trilogy. I mean, man, originally I wasn't interested because I don't actually like the initial covers. I mean, here's a black and white print of it. I don't like it much, but these covers, that's just unfair how beautiful all three of them are. I mean, you can see the other two, I believe, over here. Is that on? Yeah, that's here. It's beautiful. And then, of course, the last thing that I got in the mail was Of Blood and Fire, the official final release of the series, or in Trad Publishing, just as a special edition here. I love it without its cover on. I actually have never seen it without its cover on. I just saw it for the first time. I didn't even think about it. I also got this little card of Etheria. I love this series, so I couldn't miss out on this one. And it did take a little while for them to get this in, but it is beautiful. I love the color they put into it. I love how everything pops. I love the new art. I'm not going to show too much. I'm going to try and... I don't want to show that one. That's the old art. I was just asking myself earlier, is there old art? But yeah, I'll show this one. Love the new art. I think it's all very beautiful. Whoever the new illustrator is for these black and white, because, I mean, is it the same person? Because I think Ryan Cahill had his brother do the original illustrations, but I have no idea who's doing the illustrations now. Anyways, very happy about this. Very, very excited, because I think eventually I want to do a reread of the series right before the finale releases, of course. So that is going to be a must, and I am very, very hyped. Anyways, I think that is about all I have for today. I haven't read all that much. I think Wandering In's quite a bit, and I will definitely be reading more Deadhouse Gates. This is something I really want to continue. Same with Riddle Master of Hed by Patricia A. McKillop. And I think that's all I have for today. So anything else I have to say is really next week sometime I will be interviewing L.L. Stevens, the author of The Triumphant Revelations, one of my favorite series of all time now. It is such an impeccable saga, and I highly, highly recommend it. If you want to, please come check us out. She is such a wonderful author. I'm in awe. I'm flabbergasted by what she was able to do with this series. And Sordanian's just amazing. By the way, huge shout out to Jake from Nerd Level Rising. I mean, you all know him, for giving this a bigger audience to see. I'm so happy that he read this and that he enjoyed it, because, I mean, I say this as a huge fan. I love Sordanian. And yeah, I think that's it. So please, all of you, tell me, what have you lot been reading? What have you read anything here? What do you think of it? I know that I am basically reading the same things, but I still love to hear what you think of these things. And have I convinced you to read The Wandering In? I would love to hear it. I hope you have been convinced, because it is just impeccable. Anyways, that's all I have to say for today. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing week, and I will see you all next time.